Because benefiting the living and the deceased, chapter 7. At the Dharma heaven, Ksitigharbha Bodhisattva Mahasattva said to the Buddha, World Honor One, I observed that the mental stirring and thoughts of living beings of the Bodhisattva are almost always wrongdoings. Although now and then they may generate virtuous thoughts and gain good benefits, they mostly retreat from their initial resolve. If they encounter evil conditions in every thought, they increase and add to the unwholesome. These people are as if walking in the mire and carrying heavy rocks. They would become more trapped and weighted down as their feet would sink deeper with each step. If such a person can meet a virtuous friend, this person's burden will be lightened or even completely removed because such a virtuous friend has great strength. Furthermore, the virtuous friend will lend him support and advise him to keep his steps firm and steady, teach him to practice the teachings of the Dharma, stop doing evil deeds and do good deeds, and point out that once he reaches the level ground, he should be aware of the bad road and not walk on it again. World Honor 1. Living beings who are accustomed to evil begin with a minute amount, then quickly escalate into measureless evil. Because these beings have such a habit when they are about to depart this life, their parents and relatives should make merit in their behalf to assist them on the road ahead. This may be done by hanging banners and canopies and lighting oil lamps, by reciting the sacred sutras, by making offerings in the veneration to the images of Buddhas and holy ones, as well as by reciting the names of Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, and Pratyeka Buddhas.
So, explain what is that? Yeah, so what is Pratyanga Buddhas? That's the question that I asked. Have you guys reached the pages right now?
Yeah, I think so.
297. Okay.
So Pratyeka Buddha refers to a type of enlightened being in Buddhism.
Okay. So just to make that furthermore, the Pratyanga Buddha is the Buddha that they reaches along the way is along only one way. So Buddha is like reaching completely, but Pratyanga Buddha is only reaching for themselves. They also need to reach attain that kind of enlightenment for other people to reach the state of Buddha. So that is why it's called Pratyanga, which is basically mean reaching by one branches. So.
In such a way that the recitation of each name reaches the ear of the dying one, these dying beings, should the results brought about by the unwholesome karma they generated be reckoned, would certainly fall into the lower realms, and may be heard in his fundamental consciousness. However, by virtue of their relatives cultivating these noble causes in their behalf, their manifold torments of offenses can be dissolved. If relatives can furthermore widely perform many good deeds during the 7-day period, after the death of such beings, then the deceased will be able to leave the lower realms forever. The living relatives will themselves be reborn as humans and devas and experience excellent, wonderful happiness and receive measureless benefits. Therefore, in the presence of the Buddha, world-honored one, as well as devas, nagas, and others of the 8 classes of beings, humans, non-humans, and offerings, I now exhort living beings of Japadiva to be careful, do not kill, harm beings, generate evil conditions, or worship and offer sacrifices to ghosts and spirits, or seek the help of goblins on the days when someone is nearing death. Why? Your killing, harming, worshipping, offering, sacrifices, and so forth are not the least bit helpful to the deceased.
Okay. So now I have another question. Would you please explain what is like the devas and nagas? What are they? They are kind of confusing terms.
The diva are translated as
Yeah, sky beings,
sky beings, and then
ancestral beings, or just gods.
and Nagas is commonly translated as dragon, because half human and half dragon.
Yes.
If in this life or in the future the departed one gains elements of holiness and it is to be reborn among humans or devas, but because his relatives commit these evil causes for his sake, but bind up conditions of wrongdoing so that they become deeper and more severe. When he is on the verge of death, he will become involved in dispute and be delayed from being reborn in an upper realm. How much worse the situation will be for the dying persons who never had even a few roots of goodness from their lifetime. How can we bear to have relatives add to that karma? Each of them will undergo the lower realms in accordance with his own karma. It is as if there was a person who had traveled from afar. He had been out of food for 3 days and carrying a load that weighed more than 100 kilograms. Suddenly, he came upon a neighbor who attached a few more things to it. He would be even more burdened then. World Honor One. I see that as long as living beings of Chapeter7 are able to follow the teachings of the Buddhas, or even just do good deeds as little as a strand of hair, a drop of water, a grain of sand, or a speck of dust, they themselves will gain all the benefits. Great Eloquence Elder. Mahasattva, after beings of Chapeter7 die, and their families and relatives cultivate virtues for their sake. This elder had long since attained non-arising. He taught and guided living beings of the 10 directions to the other shore.
You want to explain some terms in there?
So the great eloquence elder.
So, yeah, I mean the Mahasattva. What does it mean by Mahasattva? Remember?
Sorry, I think I forgot.
So Mahasattva basically refers to the great being. So direct translation is. So in this case, the great eloquence elder is referring to the Ksitigharbha Bodhisattva, which is the leader of this entire speech. So yeah, that's great. Any questions? No?
I mean, I just wanted like to also have the comment that when they talk about the other shore, they refer to Nirvana. Right?
Okay.
Wait, I have a question. Could you give more context on like what this chapter is about?
Yeah, I can share some quick information about this chapter. So for this chapter, it's basically when the Ksitigharbha Bodhisattva is trying to showing that in this world, the karma is basically referring to the accumulation of actions or bad actions, something like that. And he previously used the analogy saying, if you are trying to kill beings before this person died, or like your family, your relative died, if you kill other animals or other beings to, like you think that that will help your relative to go to the heavens or become human again, things like that. But it will not work. And the analogy is, it is like a person is carrying a huge bag along the way, and if you are putting like killing people, you are adding more stuff on it, and it will help like getting them,
Pulling them down.
yeah, putting them down and make it harder to go to the nirvana or the other shore.
Yeah.
That's the analogy. And later on, there's another part, and I think I will let Alaya continue introducing them. So this is the question like rising by this elder, great eloquence elder. And in short, it's basically asking about the karma.
Okay.
Yeah, what's the thing that the action that this word is like?
Do you know what a bodhisattva is?
Yeah, I think you told me last.
Yeah,
time,
last
like
week it was like that idea of kind of like a being that has been like, practicing the Dharma like for so long, that they're like kind of close to attain like ultimate enlightenment, but they decide to delay it
yeah.
because they want to keep helping.
Hmm.
So yeah, there's like different stories about each one of them, because usually there's like different associations of what each one of those does. Specifically, and each one of those has like different stories and stuff. So Basically, like this book is about the story of one.
About one of the bodhisattva. It's called Ksitigharbha or Ksitigharbha bodhisattva.
Okay.
It's the one with the red clothes and emitting the golden light.
Oh
Yes.
Yeah.
You can always recognize them because of their clothes, or like sometimes they have
Like a typical symbolic dressing of
Yeah.
bodhisattva. Yes, please.
Make vegetarian meal offerings and so forth, planting many good causes, while these departed ones gain great benefits and release. Elder, now through the Buddha's awesome spiritual power, I will explain this in general terms for the sake of all living beings in the present and future. Elder, beings in the present and future who hear a Buddha's name, a Bodhisattva's name, or Pratyanka Buddha's name, on the days when they are nearing death will gain release regardless of whether they have offenses or not. If there are men and women who did not cultivate good causes but committed many offenses while they were alive, and after their death, their family and relatives make merit and benefit on their behalf, creating Buddha images, printing sutras, settling animals free, giving to the poor, making offerings to the triple gem, educating others.
Triple gem. What is triple gem?
Is Buddha, I forgot the next two.
Yeah, Buddha and yes, yeah, Buddha, Dharma, Sangha. So Sangha is the monks, the practitioner.
They will receive 1/7 of the virtues of the holy deeds, and the other 6/7 will benefit the living relatives themselves. Therefore, good men and good women in the present and future should themselves cultivate virtue when they are healthy and hearing well. They will receive every part of the benefit. The great ghost of impermanence can come to one at any time. The consciousness of the departed one then wanders in darkness, not knowing how his offenses and merits will turn out overall. During the ensuing 7 7-day periods, he is as if stunned and deaf, or he is at various authorities being examined and questioned regarding his karma and the effects. Once the result is determined, he undergoes rebirth in accordance with his karma. In the time before his rebirth is determined, he is tormented by thousands of myriads of worries. How much more anguished will he be if he falls into the lower realms? Throughout the 7 7-day period, in every thought, the departed one who has not yet undergone rebirth hopes that his parents, children, and relatives will engender the strength of merit to rescue them. After these periods of days, he will undergo the ripened effects according to his karma. If he is a wrongdoer, he will pass through hundreds of thousands of years without a day of release. If his offenses include any of the 5 great violations that lead to incessant torments, he will fall into that great hell, and for thousands of kalpas for an interminably long time, undergo manifold sufferings. Spilling the blood of a Buddha, killing one's father, marrying the Sangha, killing an Arhat, killing one's mother. But his parents, children, and relatives may make vegetarian meals offerings to help him in his karmic path. In the process of preparing such a meal and before the offering is completed, rice rinsings and vegetable leaves should not be thrown onto the ground. And before the food has been offered to the Buddha and Sangha, no one should eat it. If there is any transgression or laxness in this matter, the departed one will gain no strength from it. If purity is diligently maintained in making the offerings to the Buddha and Sangha, the departed one will receive 1/7 of the benefit. Therefore, elder, if after the death of parents and relatives, living beings of Jabodhiva, with diligence, sincerity, and a resolute mind, are able to make vegetarian meal offerings in their behalf, they will benefit both the living and the deceased. As these words were spoken, thousands of myriads of millions of nayutas of ghosts and spirits of Jabodhiva who were in the Ksitigharbha heaven all gave rise to the immeasurable Bodhi mind. Elder great eloquence made obeisance and withdrawal.
And that's the end of this chapter. And any questions?
Um,
Or you want like a quick summary of it.
Maybe also to clarify what's in the
Arhan, sure. So, I mean, I've explained this to Alaya. I will like Alaya to explain it.
I think arhat just basically means people that already got released and don't have any stress.
Yes. So they've already free from any annoyance, so they are free from any kind of
They're like
Right.
enlightened. or-
Yeah.
they've already reached the alignment, but there's kind of the restrainment by their karma. So they still have the kind of habits to do things that is not clean as described. So there are bad result will happen from their karma. But if they're going to observe it again and again and again, or they practice the way of bodhisattva, they will be reaching the other shore. That's what the Arhat should be. And a quick summary of this chapter is, as like Ksitigharbha Bodhisattva described perfectly. So there are basically several ways so to help the departed one or our relative that already like passed away. So they're like hanging canopies and also like offering food to the Buddha and offering food to the Sangha, or like helping those people like with diseases. That's the thing that's described in this chapter. And there's also like numerical estimation, like 1/7 of the merit will go to the one passed away, and the 6/7 will comes to the living one. So the majority will comes to the living one, but if you want to help those passed away, you want to do more and help those that have already passed away. And there's also a period that is important. I don't know if you've mentioned, if you guys noticed that, it's the 49 days after the one passed away. That is a significant time period. It is the time when the calamic consequences will be estimated. And if during that period you've reading the sutra and make the offering to the Buddha, that will make significant amount. So it's more than 1/7. And that's the major idea, because life and the death is a significant thing in this world, especially. So Ksitigharbha Bodhisattva want to stress this, like how you can help your family, how you can help those people who have already passed away. That's the main idea.
Thanks.
Okay.
Continue.
Yeah.
The praise of King Rama and his retinue, chapter 8. At that time, from within the iron encircling mountains, King Yama and measureless ghost kings all arrived at the Ksitigharbha heaven and came to where the Buddha was. They were Ghost, King Evil, Poison. So just basically all the types of ghosts. Ghost King Many Evils, Ghost King Flying Body, Ghost King Disseminating Disasters, Ghost King Blood Tiger, Ghost King White Tiger, Ghost King Great Quarrels, Ghost King White Wolf Teeth, Ghost King Red Tiger, Ghost King Lightning Flash, Ghost King Thousand Eyes, Ghost King Proceeding Over Depletion, Ghost King Rock Carrying, Ghost King Beast Devouring, Ghost King Proceeding Over
A
Food,
lot of gold.
Ghost King proceeding over domestic animals. Ghost King proceeding over wealth. Ghost King proceeding over calamities. Ghost King proceeding over force. Ghost King proceeding over beasts. Ghost King proceeding over diseases. Ghost King proceeding over goblins. Ghost King the 3 eyes. Ghost King proceeding over birth. Ghost King proceeding over danger. Ghost King 4 eyes. Ghost King 5 eyes. Ghost King proceeding over life. King 奇力士 King 大奇力士 King 奇力差 King 阿拿扎 King 大奇力差 King 大阿拿扎。
Yeah, so this is like the Chinese translation, and the meaning is not quite presented over there. So basically, for the qi li shi, I think it's already because in the original text it's translated in Sanskrit and it's only by this verbal translation. So the meaning of it is basically the benefit, but it's basically referring to the like unwholesome benefit. So it's what they mean by qi li shi. And anaja, which is also a like verbal translation, it means quarreling and fighting, like the internal meanings that. So that's the reason why they are becoming a ghost king. So if you like going back and see all the names over there, the names of the ghost kings are referring the potential cause, like that you can be to become a ghost. That's the reason. Okay.
There were great ghost kings such as these, each with hundreds of thousands of minor ghost kings. They all reside in Jabodeva, and each of them has duties to carry out and proceed over. Through the awesome spiritual penetration of the Buddha and the strength of Ksitigharbha Bodhisattva Mahasattva, these ghost kings and King Yama all came to the Triastarma heaven and stood to one side. World Honor 1. It is through the awesome spiritual penetration of the Buddha and the strength of Ksitigharbha Bodhisattva Mahasattva that the Ghost King and I are now able to come to this great assembly in the Triasarma heaven. Now there's a little question that I dare to ask the World Honor One. O World Honor One, with your kindness and compassion, please expound on it. Ask whatever you wish. I will explain it for you. World Honor 1. I see that Ksitigharbha Bodhisattva uses hundreds of thousands of skillful means in the 6 realms of existence to guide wrongdoing suffering beings across to liberation, and he does so indefatigably. This great Bodhisattva has deeds of such inconceivable supernatural power, yet the multitudes of beings after they gain release from the ripping effects of wrongdoing, before long they again fall into the lower realms. World Honor 1. Since Ksitigharbha Bodhisattva has such inconceivable spiritual power, why do living beings not dwell relying on the virtuous path and attain eternal liberation? O World Honor 1, please explain this for me. Living beings of Jabodeva have obstinate dispositions, difficult to regulate and difficult to tame. This great Bodhisattva rescues such beings everywhere throughout hundreds of thousands of kalpas, causing them to attain liberation early for people who undergo the ripping effects of wrongdoing. Even those who have fallen into these very low realms, the Bodhisattva uses the power of skillful means to extract their fundamental karmic conditions and lead them to realize the events of their previous lives.
Okay, a quick question. I think people might question, what is like Jambodiva? Do you guys have that question?
Yeah, actually.
Yeah, actually. Okay.
It's a place where basically it's a land where a tree grows on it, but I forgot the name of the trees.
So the tree has the same name called Jambodiva.
Mhm.
So Jambodiva is the place that's referring to the place that we live in. The Buddha referring this as the southern part of the entire Saha universe, or the like Shakyamuni Buddha's universe. And this universe is especially famous for its like the beings obstinate dispositions, and they're hard to regulate, hard to tame. But the good thing is people living in the Jambodiva, they're able to listen to Buddha's Dharma. So this is the good thing of people living here.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, I mean, I'm not like entirely sure how this works, but I know that, I mean, with this cosmovision, there's like different divisions of realms between different types of creatures, you know?
Yes,
But the
yes,
interesting
yes,
thing is like you can kind of like circulate between them
yes.
as you die or like are reborn, which is kind of interesting, you know, because like, I don't know, I think in most religions where like you find people ending ultimately in a certain place, but in Buddhism it's like they can circulate upwards and downwards.
Yes.
And like what connects all of those realms together is like karmic activity, right?
Yes,
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 I don't know. I think that's kind of cool.
yes,
Um,
yes, yes.
So it's a tree. What's the word again? Just
Jambodiva.
jump.
Yes, that's the word that we live in.
Wait, so the different realms are like one realm for animals, one realm for plants, like that, or
Oh,
where
yeah.
they split?
Yeah, so there are 6 realms that we are referring to. The topest realm is like most people are looking for, going to the heaven.
Yeah,
Oh,
And the second realm is what we call as the people's realm, or like human realm.
yeah.
Yeah, and then going down is the animal realm, and then going down is the hungry ghost. As if we've mentioned a lot of those hungry
yeah.
ghosts before.
oh,
So those are the realms of hungry ghost. And the bottom realm is the hell. And also there's one, it's like a free realm between them. It's called Ashura.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Ashura basically means those people are not stable and they are always angry. The original meaning of Ashura, they are always angry, trying to fight. So they are like the beings in different realms, like in heaven, in the human, and until the hell, they are going to fight each other So they are
What-
called Ashura.
What about the plants? Like what realm do they fall in? Like human realm or
The plant.
I mean,
plants?
I think
Plants.
I think one of the main considerations is like for the division of realms is like there needs to be a certain level of consciousness. I think
Oh.
because like the division arises kind of like again from karmic activity. So for an activity to be karmic, I think that it needs to be like charged with intention, or like
Yes.
with I don't know, like with with some sort of agency and intentionality that I'm not
Yes.
sure how it works actually, because I think like different realms have
Yeah.
like also plants and animals.
Yes.
but,
Yes. Good question.
But I think the interesting thing is also that humans have some sort of privileged position in all of these realms.
Yeah, because they're like the second realm.
People
Mm.
that are doing, I mean, not people, but like beings that are doing too well. So like, I don't know, like deities and devas, for example. So they're having too good of a time, like they're doing too well off. And because of that, they don't necessarily need to like, be introspective and kind of like realize truths. So,
Oh,
but we suffer apparently.
yeah,
right?
because we're like going through an existential
Exactly, but
crisis kind of thing.
other beings that are downward the realms,
Yeah.
they're doing too bad. So it's also not.
So the ghosts, are they actual humans? Just like who are just not.
They could be human before. It's like, so in this case, there are just different kind of form of lives. They're like transforming around. They could be a ghost, like could be a human before or be an animal before, but they are now
Yeah.
becoming the ghost, like to that kind of stage. And the most common reason for becoming a ghost is because they're becoming too greedy. That's the
Oh.
common reason that they becoming ghosts.
Okay.
Yes, because they are eating too much or either playing too much, they become the ghost.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the most common reason. That's in another sutra, not in this one, but
Okay.
yes.
Interesting.
However, because beings of Jabodeva have heavy habits of forming evil, no sooner have they left the lower realms, they go back in again. This necessitates the Bodhisattva to work hard throughout many kalpas in guiding them across to liberation. Suppose there was a person who lost his way home and by mistake entered a dangerous path, in which there were many wolves, lions, scorpions, snakes, and vipers, tigers, yaksas. Such a confused person on that dangerous path would be harmed within a short time. A virtuous friend who was knowledgeable of many great skills and good at stopping and keeping out the injurious and poisoning, including yaksas and other evil fierce beings, would suddenly come upon the confused man. Why are you entering this road? What special means do you have to restrain injurious and poisonous beings? It looks like I took a wrong turn. Can you help me leave here? Thank you for leading me out of the dangerous path and back to safety. From now on, do not walk on that path again. Those who enter it will have difficulty getting out. If you see relatives, friends, as well as other travelers, be they man or woman, tell them that, and moreover, they will suffer harm to their lives. On the dangerous path, there are many poisons and evils which will cause people to lose their lives. Do not allow them to unwittingly bring about their own death. In the same way, Ksitigharbha Bodhisattva, replete with great kindness and compassion, rescues wrongdoing suffering beings, and enables them to be reborn among humans and devas, so that they experience wonderful happiness. These wrongdoing beings will come to know the suffering of the bad karmic path. After they obtain releases, they would never go on those paths again. They are like the confused traveler who by mistake entered a dangerous path, but who, having met a virtuous friend who led him out, would never enter it again. Whenever he would come upon others, he would advise them not to enter that path, saying that because he was confused, he took that path before, but now that he was gained release, he will not enter that path again. If he should walk on it again, he would still be confused and mistaken, unaware that it is the dangerous path he had fallen to before. By virtue of Ksitigharbha Bodhisattva's power of skillful means, beings obtain release and gain rebirth among humans and devas. But surely thereafter, they go back to doing evil and fall into the lower realms again. If they form heavy karma, interminably long, they will remain in the house without a time of release.
Question. So what is skillful mean? But I think most of us know. What does it mean by skillful mean? Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Sure. Abraham can explain this
Yeah.
well.
So, I mean, I think there's different translations because I think none of them are completely perfect, but skillful or expedient means kind of like the idea that the teaching of the Dharma overall is kind of like I mean, it's very complex. You know, there's many things that are just very abstract and elaborated. And because of that, many times in sutras, you see bodhisattvas or Buddha himself explaining things, but sort of in accordance to your understanding of stuff. So it's kind of like a way of teaching in which I mean, people are not saying stuff exactly as it is, but it's more like through stories, sometimes through parables, sometimes through contradictions. So yeah, it's basically like a teaching method, I guess.
Yes.
That it's kind of like very personalized and tailored for individual.
Yes.
Mm.
If that still sounds a little bit like abstract, I can make a like example for that.
Yeah.
If you see a people is extremely greedy and he only wants money, and the bodhisattva will come up and give him all he wants until he filled up like, okay, I feel like this is enough. Then bodhisattva will tell him, okay, if you feel enough, you should realize this is impermanent. You should try to find the Buddha's path in order to fulfill yourself. This is one kind of like skillful meaning, like fulfill it once, but trying to tell him what's the truth later on. That's one way.
World Honor 1. We measureless number of ghost kings, benefits or harm people in Jabodiva, and we each do so differently. Ghost King evil poison. However, the ripping effects of karma cause our revenues and us to travel in the world, doing much of the unwholesome and little of the wholesome. When we pass people's homes, cities, villages, manors, or houses, where there are men or women who cultivate wholesome deeds as minute as hair fibers, who but hang a banner or a canopy, or present a little incense or a few flowers to make offerings in veneration to the images of Buddhas or Bodhisattvas, or who recite the sacred sutras or burn incense as an offering to even a sentence or a verse in them. All of us ghost kings respect and revere such people, just as we do for the Buddhas of the past, present, and future. We commend the smaller ghosts, each of whom has great power, as well as the earth spirits to protect them, and not allow evil events, untoward happenings, violent diseases, untoward serious illness, as well as unwelcome phenomena to come near these houses and places, much less enter the doors. Excellent, excellent. All you ghost kings and Yama are able to support and protect good men and good women in this way. I will tell Brahma and Sakura to protect all of you as well. World Honor 1. I proceed over a human's lifespan in Jabodiva. I am in charge of both the time of birth and the time of death. In accordance with conditions of karma, as in my original vows, I wish very much to benefit living beings, but they do not realize my intention. They therefore go through birth and death in distress. Why is this? When people of Jabodiva have just born children, whether boys or girls, or when they are about to give birth, good deeds should be done to increase the benefits of the household. Then naturally, the local earth spirits will be immeasurably joyful and will protect the mother and child, so that they obtain great peace and happiness, and so that their relatives too receive benefits. After the birth, be careful to not kill or harm beings in order to offer fresh meat to the mother, nor gather relatives to drink alcohol, eat meat, sing, and play instruments, for these acts can keep the mother and child from peace and happiness. Why? During the difficult time of childbirth, there are countless evil ghosts, goblins, and spirits who want to consume the full blood. I command the local earth spirits of the household early on to protect the mother and child, so that they are peaceful and happy, thereby gaining benefits. When people in such households see that the mother and child are peaceful and happy, they should cultivate merit in thanks to the earth spirits. If instead of doing so, they kill, harm, and gather relatives for feasting, their violations will bring misfortune to themselves, and the mother and child will also be harmed. Moreover, for people of Chapeter7 who are on the verge of death, regardless of whether they have done good or evil, I wish to keep these dying ones from falling into the lower realms. But how much more can I do so when they have cultivated roots of goodness and have increased my ability to help? Child. Ah, father, mother, haven't you been dead for many years? Child, father and mother miss you very much. Quickly come with us. Father, mother, I miss you too. Wait for me. Child, quickly follow father and mother into this cave. How did I enter into this pig fetus to be reincarnated as a pig? Do you see clearly? Actually, we are not your parents. We are your debtors from previous lives. When a practitioner of good deeds is about to depart this life, there too are hundreds of thousands of ghosts and spirits of the lower realms who disguise themselves as his parents or other relatives in an attempt to lead him into lower realms. How much more is this the case for those who have done evil? World Honor 1. When such a man or woman of Chapeter7 is on the verge of death, his consciousness is confused and dim. He is unable to distinguish between good and evil, and his eyes and ears are unable to see and hear. His relatives should then make great offerings, recite the sacred sutras, and recite the names of Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. Such wholesome conditions can cause the departed one to keep away from the lower realms, and the demons, ghosts, and spirits will all withdraw and disperse. World Honor 1. All living beings who are nearing the time of death, if they are able to hear Buddha's name, a Bodhisattva's name, or a sentence of a verse from the Mahayana Sutras, I observe that such people, except for those who any of the 5 grave violations of killing and harming that lead to incessant torments, those who have small and wholesome karma, which would otherwise cause them to fall into the lower realm, will obtain release quickly. Because of your great kindness, you are able to make such great vows and protect all beings amid their birth and death. In the future, when men and women reach their time of birth and death, do not retreat from your vows. Be sure to cause all of them to be liberated and gain eternal peace and happiness. Please do not be concerned. Until the end of my present form, in every thought I will support and protect living beings of Chapeter7 so that they gain peace and happiness both at the time of birth and the time of death. I only wish that at the time of birth and death, these living beings will believe and accept my words, so that they will all be liberated and gain great benefits. This great ghost king proceeding over life, he has passed through hundreds of thousands of lives as a great ghost king, supporting and protecting living beings amid their birth and death. It is only because of these great beings' compassionate vows that he manifests in the form of a great ghost. In reality, he is not a ghost. After 170 kalpas, he will become a Buddha. Named signless Tathagata. His kalpa will be called peace and happiness, and his world will be named pure dwelling. The lifespan of that Buddha will be incalculable kalpas. Ksitigharbha, so inconceivable are the matters about this great ghost king. The devas and humans whom he guides across to are immeasurable.
Okay. And you guys get what's this chapter is about? Okay.
The role that the ghosts can
Yeah.
play,
Yes.
kind of.
Yeah. One thing is about the role of ghost, and also it's like I think one of the ghosts is mentioning, it's called poison ghost. And he mentions that like most ghosts in this world, they are trying to harm other people because they are greedy about the things from other people. They're trying to get them from other people. But those ghost kings who present their vows before the Buddha or ask the question before the Buddha, they want people to be like enjoying their life or attain the deliverance or the enlightenment in the future. So you see, there are still ghost kings like over there doing good things. It's like this is the main idea of the Buddha is trying to tell us trying to memorize the name of the Buddha, trying to make offering, and then you will get the help from even the ghost king, like those people those kind of being who originally like really greedy, trying to get all the things from other people. No, they are not like that if you pay like that kind of homage to the Buddha. So this is kind of the karma that the Buddha want to emphasize. And it is great. So if you're trying to follow the chapter, you will be able to like get rid of all those kind of undesired conditions. So
What are the like steps?
Hmm?
What are the steps?
the steps.
Yeah, to like get rid of.
Oh, so we've read through this chapter. Like, I mean, we can go back and
No, and I just
yeah, so it's just
Which
few
is-
things. Like a quick thing is like make great offerings and recite the sutras as we are doing now, and also recite the name of Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. Like most common name of Buddha that people are trying to recite now is the Amitabha Buddha.
Mhm.
I've already heard about that. Amitabha Buddha.
Amitabha Buddha.
Yeah, Amitabha Buddha. The
Maybe.
yeah, the
What's
Amitabha
the
Buddha.
powerful or something like
Yeah, because of the 48 vows that Buddha is making, that is extremely huge. I will try to like introduce that because after I describe the word that Buddha is trying to imagine or to say to build up, you will realize why people are always thinking about that Buddha. It's because of the pure land. Have you ever heard of the pure land?
like
The pure land.
if you do good karma and then you reach those.
Yes. The pure land is referring to the land of the Amitabha Buddha.
Mm.
And it's extremely beautiful. So in short, that land is made of like gold, silver,
jewels, right?
yeah, jewels, and different kind of shells, different kind of beautiful germs over there. Yeah, germs over there, like the towers, the buildings, and even the trees are made of those different kind of germs. And there are food everywhere. You don't have to go and find food. You don't have to work and find food. You're just sitting there, recite the sutra, and when you feel like, okay, I'm a little bit hungry, the food will come to you, come before you. And the clothes, you're like, okay, I don't like this clothes anymore. I want the new clothes. The clothes will come to you just by the karmic consequence of that Buddha.
Yeah.
So that's why people are thinking of Amitabha Buddha, because they are thinking of the extremely inconceivable karma that the Buddha has already vowed and also practiced.
Yeah.
So
I think that's something that happens often, like the idea that either the Buddha or Bodhisattvas, since they have like kind of like heavenly powers, they can also project I don't know, their will in like different dimensions that people can access to. But I think the cool thing about Pure Lens is that it's not like an objective on its own. Like you're not done once you reach a Pure Lens, but it's more like you are sort of reborn there, but with the objective of keeping on following the Dharma.
Continuing.
But with more ease, right? Because everything is amazing. So
yeah,
so you're able to concentrate in.
yes. So the good thing is like over there, practice Dharma is extremely easy, as we've mentioned. But the more important thing, I think, yes, in the sutra later on, the Shakyamuni Buddha mentioned this. If you practice the 5 precepts or 5 disciplines that we mentioned before, like no killing, no stealing, and no sexual misconduct, and no forceful speech, and do not drink alcohol, those 5 precepts, if you practice them in this world especially, it is more effective like than if you practice the 5 precepts in the pure land, in the Amitabha Buddha's world. Because why is this so? Because in this world, you see all those different kind of bad causes and bad conditions. If you are able to have that kind of power to say, okay, I want to practice the good deeds here, you will be able to gain immeasurable, really immeasurable results from that. So it is the good thing if you so don't feel like you are living in like a inferior position. No, it's giving you the power to practice. That makes you more powerful. And yes, we've mentioned make great offerings to the Buddhas and recite the sutra as we're doing. Pretty nice, and recite the name of Buddhas. And yes, I think introducing Amitabha Buddha is good enough. And then there are also other bodhisattvas. And
I think you mentioned like the 48 vows.
yes,
And I think those are really cool. I'm not sure if I'm like confusing it with other yeah, other texts, but I think in these ones, like there's one of the vows in which he says that certain people that I don't remember exactly how it goes, but I think that there was like an underlying contradiction between what he says, because he says before that certain people will definitely remain in one of the lower grounds in one of the hells. But then I think toward the end he says that no one will, like, all of those hells will be empty forever. So it's kind of interesting. I don't remember exactly how it works, but I think it was like it had the intention of making people sort of like, you know, be aware of their own actions.
Yes, yes.
Um,
I guess the two vows that you are mentioning is the first vow the Buddha is mentioning is there's no three lower realms as the ghost, like the hungry ghost realm, animal realm, and health is not that, like those realms is not available over there. And also, the Buddha mentions that the beings in the realm, they are not able to develop greedy, angry, or like ignorance in the realm. It's kind of like a contradictory somehow.
yeah.
Like if you are being, you have to develop a greedy to keep that body. But yeah, that's the thing that you've mentioned. It's kind of contradictory, but it's interesting.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's about like finding a balance and not
Yes.
going like overly, or not going under as well, where you just
Yes.
lose yourself.
So I think yeah, that's a good thing. Have you no, okay. I think Abraham just mentioned that. So for the Bodhisattva, they have kind of a vow to helping other people. So if they're keeping that kind of vow, it's like a slightly greedy in between that kind of vow and helping other people, right? Because you're greedy to helping other people. Yeah, it's a slightly greedy, but if you keep that greedy and at the end, if you want to become the Buddha, you just disregard, like, I don't care about that kind of vow.
Yeah.
I will go into nirvana. That's the time when you actually enter into the Dharma, that realm of Dharma. But before that, if you want to keep that realm, helping other people, like keep that vow, helping other people, you are still in the realm of Bodhisattva. That makes you a little bit greedy, as you've mentioned. That balance is hard to find, but it's still good because you're helping other people to reaching the other shore.
Yeah, I feel like you can never let go of that like selfish nature because
Yeah.
it's just like inner biology, like just the way we've developed or just how to survive.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
It's kind of interesting, because I mean, yeah, like what bodhisattvas do, ends up having a practical positive impact on everyone, but at the same time, wanting to help other people also has some sort of
Mhm.
yeah,
to it, I guess, because I
yes,
mean, I'm not sure if I would say greed, but at least there's some sort of attachment
yes,
Yeah.
that you have when you.
yes,
Or like wanting to be, that's what we discuss that a lot in our course, like mental health counseling.
Mhm.
And we talk about how becoming more aware of what your agenda is and making sure you keep your agenda away and making yourself more as selfless as possible. Because oftentimes it can be like a very selfish profession where you think like, oh, this is the kind of success that's right, or like this is the change that you should be making, or this is what I want to see in you. And then, but that's like selfish because you're trying to be in control all the time. And
Mm,
yeah.
That's very cool. I never thought about it.
Mhm.
That's really cool.
It's very difficult, but yeah, it's important. If you want to be a good therapist, it's important to keep yourself like out of the picture.
Yeah. I never thought about it like from the point of view of therapy, but yeah, I guess it's like very relevant. And I don't know, like, do you think it's common for I don't know, yeah, people in training to get these sort of perspectives?
At least like my experience has been like we've reflected on that a lot, and or at least I've reflected on it a lot. And like also like a lot of people go into therapy because they want to have some sense of control or some sense of like I'm a healer or I can help you,
Yeah.
or it
Yeah.
gives them a sense of like purpose or power even,
Yeah.
that I have like the ways or the teachings or whatever to help you. So it makes you feel good that, oh, I can like save this person or whatever.
Yeah.
But then it can also bring a lot of selfishness.
Yes. And actually that reminded me like one of the other sutras that we read, the Diamond Sutra. I think the Buddha is talking to Manjushri, and then he's like giving him teachings, and then in the end he ends up saying something like there are no teachings, there's nothing.
Yes.
So yeah, I think like that's sort of suggestive too, that
yes,
ultimately
Yeah.
There's
So that's why the Buddha's teaching is extremely complete. Like
yeah,
at the end, there's no Buddha, no Bodhisattva.
yeah,
It's
that's
complete. There's nothing without the constraint of words. So yeah,
Yeah.
cool.
yeah. And good to have everybody here. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you guys for coming, and thanks for our guest.
Yeah.